want to start with the Warriors because last night I'm watching that game and it just hits me. It's like, stop wanting the Warriors to be more than what they are. They are sleepwalking through this regular season. There's no doubt in my mind. Last night, no Rudy Gobert, no Karl Anthony Towns. 11-point lead going to the fourth.
Yikes.
21-9 run by the T-Wolves in the early to get the fourth rolling. And Golden State just couldn't get it going offensively. It wasn't even about stops. It was more about just they couldn't make a shot. Steph Curry somehow fell out of his offensive rhythm and couldn't get back into it.
And turn the ball over, if I may add.
I mean, that's when I said sleepwalking, you know what I was thinking of? Is the pass to the Warrior bench. Where it's
the assistant coaches had
court,
the perplexed look like.
In a big sequence.
Yeah, no doubt.
In a huge sequence, right? I mean,
Larry, let me tell you something. Steiny and I got a bit, and I've told you this every time I see you. He's got the field. I got the Warriors. And what the Warriors right now are defending champs. But, Larry, what's scaring me is these blown leads. They used to step on teams' neck. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I feel like you're giving them a pass if you say they're sleepwalking. Because what's happening is last year, as they went on to win the chip, they were middle of the pack offensively, top 5 defensively. Now they're middle of the pack, the same offensively, but Larry, defense. I hope that Steiny's not listening because this is what he's been saying. They've slipped. They're middle of the pack defensively. So it's the Blue Chew thing. They cannot sustain it. And now I'm worried, and this is why they have leads like they did last night in the fourth quarter, and teams are able to come back. And again, I don't know if that's age, but I know there's no Otto Porter Jr. I know there's no Gary Payton II. So now no lead is safe with this team, and we got Detroit. We got the Jazz, the Mavericks, where they've had leads in the fourth quarter, and they evaporate. And last night was just – I can't remember a shot from Steph Curry with the game on the line, leaving the other team 4 seconds in case you miss it. But that was set up for him to drain that. I know you're not going to make every one, but Larry, I'm starting to believe this team. We had Bob Myers on the executive show yesterday. You know, he didn't tell us what he was going to do, but I was so giddy about where this Warrior team was at. They don't need to make a move. I'm looking at you 24 hours later after last night. No Gobert, no Cat, as you mentioned. I don't know if they got enough size.
Oh, no, they need to make a move, and they're not the same defensive team. And
yikes.
Here's the question. There's no doubt that they're sleepwalking. You don't make a pass in the backcourt like that and throw it away in the key sequence of the fourth quarter. If you're just, it was just a communication error, right? You know, two guys who one guy thought something else was going to happen. Curry thought the guy was waiting for the pass. He flips it over. It goes out of bounds. But Golden State just went cold in the fourth quarter. They couldn't make any buckets.
Yikes.
It's 17 points. He scored only 4 in the overtime. I mean, the Warriors in this game had more turnovers than field goals in the overtime. And Curry just seemed like he lost his rhythm.
What about in the corner, Larry, where it was a double dribble on Draymond because they weren't on the same page. You normally don't see that.
I know, you don't. And it was 17 turnovers. That was huge. I think it led to like 24 or 28 points going the other way. Steph didn't score at all in the overtime.
How are you so great? The God that I call you, and I go back to the Memphis play-in game a couple years ago, Larry, at Chase. And again, it's Steph Curry for me all day, every day. He didn't score. You look at this Warrior record now in overtime, which is people are turning the volume up on that. And my question to you and the listeners is, how do you have the chef and we give him all this, he's the one, but yet in overtime, the team, it's over. They're not winning.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing is too many unforced turnovers. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. I'm also, by the way, Kevon Looney's block was spectacular.
Over a dude that had hops. I love Looney. I'm sorry. Hey, Looney, we need you to come off the bench. We're going to go small. No problem. Looney, we need more Loonies in the world.
What do you think of the new lineup with the small lineup with Clay?
Steve now looks
at Clay as a 3-4.
I think they're gassed.
That, right?
Yeah.
You guys talked about that.
I think they're gassed. Okay, Jordan Poole, you're starting. What are we going to do with it? I think because they're small, Larry, they're gassed at the end, and that's what we saw last night. My 2 cents, I like it at the start of the game, but I think they got tired and wore down, and that's why we saw bad news bears in regard to protecting the rock. That was a nasty loss, man, and now we're back at 500. And some days, Larry, I'm like, oh, they're just doing it because they're like, you know what, we don't care where we go. But nah, something's up. And I thought they were tired, and Steph, all his shots were short.
Yeah. And Clay, too. He's hitting a lot of the front rim. And then Naz Reid went off. I mean, Naz Reid last night gave the T-Wolves exactly what the Warriors would love to get from their 5. 24 and 13. He had the OT, a follow-up jam.
Oh, that was like the big dog.
That was the game winner right there. The 2 things stood out to me. Oh, okay, first of all, one, I think the Warriors are as I said, it's they're sleepwalking. It's early February. These are the dog days, right?
So you feel like, Larry, just real quick, when you say they're sleepwalking, but then earlier you say before that they need to make a move like they have. But when I hear sleepwalking, I feel like, okay, if you wake up, you're good. But is it sleepwalking and you need help?
I think. Well, first of all, I think they need to make a move because I don't think you can go the entire season with Wiseman and Moody and you're not going to trade them.
Ignore them.
And you're not. And if you told me at the beginning of the year that of Kuminga, Wiseman, and Moody, that 2 of those guys would not be traded and would not be in the rotation, I would say the Warriors have no chance. They have to either get Wiseman or Moody in the rotation, or they got to get something for these guys. We'll talk about that in a second. But here's the question. I think they're sleepwalking. I think they're just kind of like, there's a lethargy. There's an overall lethargy to watching them the last few games. And tonight, of course, the road trip winds up in Denver, and we'll see if they play everybody and somehow steal a win in Denver. But does it matter that they don't look good right now? And, what side are you on? Are you in that side that, man, they don't look good and it matters, and they're in real trouble come May and June in the playoffs? Or are you of the mindset that they have enough talent, they can flip a switch and seriously contend for a title as is in May or June? I don't think they can do it as is. I think they need a move. I think they need a little bit of a shakeup. I think they need another rotation player. But 2 issues that I have with Kerr's rotation last night. One, Jonathan Kuminga is playing really, really well. I like what I'm seeing out of Kuminga. 10 points, 3 rebounds. He had a block. He had a steal. He's dominant in the open floor. He's athletic.
With a left hand that was just so spectacular.
How about the block on Edwards? That was spectacular. Why not put Kuminga on Russell in the end? That I didn't get. And then I know Poole has secured the bag, but man, why not DiVincenzo in the overtime?
Wow.
DiVincenzo got 0 run in the OT.
And I feel like he's your Gary Payton II. I like